All right. Hello, welcome to our painting this afternoon. We're doing the Outback Twilight. Those that are coming on live or catching the replay, I am Jenny from Raw Art Designs in Katherine, Northern Territory, Australia. We don't know where this could be going out to. Welcome those that are on live. Say hello if you haven't already. And if you are catching the replay, let me know in the comments with #replay. All right, so we're going to be painting this awesome Outback scene. And again, we have a blank canvas. Sorry, Joyce, we have to draw again. Only a little bit. So I'll just make sure you got everything. And Joe, I did see that you're there with Megan watching as well. And hopefully I have got all the colours right because I missed some with last week's painting and I actually think I have missed a couple today. So I do apologise. So let's just check on colours. So in the sky, we're going to have phthalo blue. If you don't have that exact phthalo blue, you just use a dark navy blue is fine. White and yellow, and that will mix together to make that greenish, the blue and the yellow will mix together to make that greenish colour. And we're going to mix a dark green down the bottom with yellow and the phthalo blue. We'll need black. And I did say raw sienna and burnt sienna or dark sienna, I think. But I did also use like a mustardy colour yellow in the grass. But don't stress if you haven't got that because you can just use the raw sienna and make it'll just be a little bit darker. It won't be quite as much the yellowy burnt look, so that's fine. And then our flowers will be with the blue, and I have got a little bit of a touch of orange in there, but that doesn't matter. We can make something up. Good at doing that. All right, and then you will need your large brush for the background and probably more so a smaller number 6 round, possibly a 12, but I can't remember using that, so I don't think that was in there. And I did tell you to get a bottle top, or I'm just going to use the bottom of one of my paint pots, and that's going to be to dot our circle for the windmill. But if you don't have one, that's fine. You can just draw it or paint it a circle. Okay. All right, so let's get started painting. Who is ready with their colours? Let me know if you are painting along with me today or if you are just watching. Okay, we've got a few that are just watching that. I've already said that, so that's fine. It's not refreshing my comments, so just see how we go. All right, and again, if you don't have a square canvas, you can paint on a rectangle one. And I do recommend one of the other ladies last week, she turned it, because we had it all vertical, she turned it horizontal. So that way you'll fit it in better because you'll get the width of this instead. All right. So we're going to start with sky first. Just want to wet your big brush just a little bit. And we're going to come in with, starting with yellow. And it's roughly about halfway across. Just going to put a line halfway across. So that's our horizon line. Now, as usual, if you want to bring the colours around the side of your canvas, do so. Otherwise, we can just put black on the sides at the end. So, and I'll show you how to do that. So up to you. So if you are going to bring your colours over the edges, do that as you go along. All right, so we're just going to start loading up our brush with quite a bit of paint and getting that nice bright yellow on first. Going back and forth across there. I'll build this up. And I'm going to then just load my brush with white, and we're just going to blend in down the bottom to make it a lighter yellow. We do want to blend this, so just keep going back and forth so it does blend in to make it lighter. It's probably not showing up too much on screen, but it will be. It should be working on yours. We're blending that part, and then I'm just going to do some streaks into the next part. And then we're going to rinse our brush. Wipe it off. Oh, hi, Vanessa. And hello, Hayley. Great to see you on. No worries. Sometimes it's good to watch it first and then see how you go. And guess what, Joe? You were right. I did put a little bit of turquoise in the sky, but we won't do that today. We'll just leave that. I forgot that too. I actually did all these paintings down at Mum's in the Christmas school holidays, so I've forgotten some of what I've painted, so sorry. So just putting the dark phthalo blue on the top. Coming down about halfway. And then we're going to come in with white. So I haven't rinsed my brush off because we want to now lighten it down. And we're going to just streak it through. Well, that sort of makes it look turquoisey anyway. So there we go. That's maybe what I did. And then as I come down near the yellow, I'm going to pick it up yellow. This is where it's going to make it the greenish colour. Now the trick here, we don't want to over blend, but we do want to blend a little bit. So you can bring it up and you'll see you'll start getting streaks. Only loading, I haven't actually loaded any more blue on my brush because there was enough on there. Picking up more yellow. Bit of white, you can come in with that. If it goes too blue and you're not getting a nice green, like you might get a dirtier colour looking green, rinse your brush off. Rinse very well. Wipe it off, and you can come back in a little bit more yellow and go back over, or you can wait till it dries a bit and then come in later and add that in. Go back over it, sorry, to make it. Just going to add a little bit more white. Now, every time I do a sky, it turns out completely different to my original, so don't worry if it's not looking anything like mine. Mine's not looking anything like mine. It is a little bit, but that's fine. And every sunset is different, so it's all good. Right, so how are we going with our backgrounds, those of you that are painting along? I was just telling Mum this morning, we read on the news, Mark was reading that they said it was going to be life-threatening heat wave in Sydney today of 31. And we've all been at 42 degrees up here, and I know down in South Australia it's been 42 degrees too. I don't think they ever say ours is life-threatening. I actually had that for Tasmania the other day too. It was going to be like 22 or something. And people. All right, now to go with our grassy bit, we are going to mix our green and of course my paint. So just taking your, best way to do it is to take your blue into the yellow, because then you can build it up. So, and then just mix that through. So I'm just putting little bits at a time. You don't want to go too dark. Yeah, Yasmin, we thought it was hilarious because like some of the temperatures we've been having lately, it's just like, oh, right. I actually want that a little bit darker, so I'm going to put it's making like it's a nice bluey green color. And we're going to put a layer of that across. We will need some of that green to do the grass, some of the grass in the front later. And then what you're going to do, we're going to make a darker bit. So we want to do like a V. I'm just going to do our under layers now. Come down a little bit just to create a little bit of shadow. Green down the bottom. This one is a trust the process, and I always say that, trust the process to get to the end, because it may look a little bit weird as we go along, but it will all work out really well. All right, so our next part, if you have got that mustardy ochre yellow, use that. If not, like I said, just use the raw sienna, the lighter brown. You can add a little bit of brown, yellow to the brown and see what colour that makes. I'm just going to add a layer of that down the bottom as well. Don't worry if you get streaks of green through it like I just have. That will just create some texture underneath. Not being too picky about strokes or anything here. We just want to get the paint on to cover up the canvas. Because when we do all the grass, it's going to cover up the strokes anyway. Yes, and we love aircon, and I've actually got the fan on right next to me today as well, because last week I turned it off. thinking there was too much noise, but I think it's okay. It's going to be interesting. All right, well, while that is drying a little bit, we're sort of going to do this in steps. I'm just going to come in. We're going to do a little bit of clouds while that's not dried too much. We'll just see. Now, if you have got an older brush to use for the clouds, because we're going to do some stippling, use that. If you haven't, just get your little pointy brush and just bang it on your hand or on your plate just to rough it up and open up those bristles a little bit. All right, so we want those bristles opened up so that we can do stippling. Now with the clouds, probably will already have a little bit of blue in. I've got a touch of blue in there, so I might just pick some of that up because I think my background has dried too much. And I'm just going to do, sorry, just do it with this brush. Just going to do the sun, so just do a sun or moon or whatever it's going to be, a round circle, and then just make it a little bit hazy. So not pressing as hard, just sort of dry brushing that circle in. And then we're going to come in and stipple our clouds. So lining up your brush, and it's going to be lighter up the top, and you want your brush to be quite open so you get nice fluffy clouds. I actually did this when it was wetter, so hopefully yours is a little bit wet still. And remember, clouds are all going to look different too, so you don't want to have too much paint on there. Then I'm just going to pick up a smidge of blue. You don't want very much at all. Just to do some shadow down the bottom of the clouds. And you can come in and do another one, which has still got a little bit of blue, but it doesn't matter because it just adds to the cloud. It's got a bit of white and blue in it, so it's just giving some nice texture. Just having them so they're sort of spread out, make them a little bit wispy. And pick up a little bit of blue. If you do get too much blue, just wipe it off. You only want like a touch on there. You don't want much at all. And I'm going to do a bigger one over this side. If it is too blue, like this one's quite blue, you can come back over when it dries and just add a little bit more white. Actually, that works then. So layering some of that white on will give a different look. out the top. Just rinsing that out. And dry that brush off really well because we are going to use that again shortly with our trees. Because we're going to do some more stippling with our trees. So I've got black, I've got pouring back up black. I always use pouring back, I just like it way better. Got some pearls stuck on the bottom. Which so a new one. Yeah, I just find it goes on a lot smoother, so I like using that. But if you've got thicker black, it's fine. Oh, good, Yasmin. Have a great week. And yes, the replay for last week's is still up for one more week. And this one, I've decided to keep them up for 2 just to start with until everybody gets used to what I'm doing. And yeah, and then I'm also going to be doing some tutorials on YouTube as well. So I will let you know about that when that starts happening. Okay, so we're going to just do a little bit of black just along the horizon line just to create some shadow along there. And if you don't want it to be a real like black and then green, so you can pick up a little bit of green on your brush as well. You just want to create that shadow in the black. And then you've got a nice little pointy brush still. They come in and just watch out where you're leaning your hand if your background is still wet. And we're going to just do lots of little tree trunks of different sizes. I know that looks a bit weird now, but it will make sense in a minute when we come in and do our stippling, do the tops. Sticker over here. These look a bit weird at the minute, but I'm going to stipple trees and some bushes underneath. So it won't matter if you've got a little bit of green still on that brush, mess it up. So we've got the nice open bristles. Now you don't want too much paint on your brush, so it's an idea just to push some of it off onto your plate. Then we're just going to have, that's not even enough. So then we're just going to come in and stipple our tree tops. Now, if you want, you can pick up a little bit of that green to give it a bit of a green tinge as well. So I might just do that on this one. And I'm also just putting along the bottom so it looks like there's some bushes under there too. So just go along. So these trees are right along the horizon, so I just will don't see much of them, just more like their shadow. Some bushes down. I'm just moving my brush, so stippling along there and making it go up and down a little bit just to raise the height of the bushes. Bit greens. We'll be going over some of them with the windmill after anyway. I'll put a fan there. All right, so then we're going to get into doing dried looking grass. So like I said, if you don't have that mustardy colour, it does not matter because we're going to load our brush with different colours anyway. I'll just put white near that so I can get to it easily. Just let me know in the comments how you are going. Are you keeping up if you are painting along? So with our grass, our dried grass, we're going to work from the top and come down, and we're going to use like a flicking motion. You're going to use your three different browns with a little bit of green picked up through it as we go. So I'll just show you on the other one. So we're going to layer it. So you can see in there, I've got the different coloured browns. Some of it's got a bit of green, we've got a bit of white, it's a bit darker over this side. And then we're going to just layer some of the green at the front after. We've done that, but we're going to work our way down. So starting wherever you feel like, and we're just going to, don't want too much paint on our brush. Just going to flick it up to get little grass-like stem things. And the trick is not to have too much paint on your brush. That one's big. So I want to just use that pointy bit on the end of my, oh, that's better. So I've just rinsed out my brush again, dried it off, and I'm just using the end. So it doesn't look much now, but what I'm going to do is start picking up some of that brown and coming through another layer. So when I'm doing this, I'm really just flicking the brush, really using my wrist to flick that and not pressing very hard at all. And you can go in different directions because it's not going to be straight up and down. And a bit of white as well, just to add a bit of, that'll just add some variation in the tone through there. even pick up a little bit of that darker brown, but a little bit of the white, because we are going to layer this. So you want to finish your top layer first. Yes, Joe, it's that same what's under there, and then you'll see as you add the other browns, it'll make it look more like wheaty grass. So I've done the 4 different ones on there, and then we're going to come down another layer. Just go in some different directions. And pick up the different browns. I'm not drying my brush off when I'm changing colour because I want all the different colours on it. If it clogs up and gets looking like that's just got too much now, it's making, not getting the nice point, you can rinse out, dry off, and then start again. This is a little bit tedious doing this part, but it's not really a quicker way to do it. You can just see it's starting to take a bit of shape now to look like dry grass. And then once we add all the other bits up front, that's a little better. I'm just picking up all different bits of paint on my brush. It's got all the different colours. Getting some pretty cool looking grass here. And come back and add some extra little long ones along the top. Now, if you're getting, because you will get the texture of the canvas in some of them as well, so just make sure you do have, there's a fine line really between having enough paint on the brush and not having too much. Right. You can come back and just do some little tiny ones over the top again in random spots, and that'll fill it up a lot more too. Just come down right down to the bottom. Don't be too fussy down the bottom because we are going to come back over that in a minute with the green. On the ones at the top here. White just for highlight. Ones. And you can come in and add a couple of little green if you wish. All right, then when we're doing our one over this side, we're going to make look like that is more like a rolling hill. Our little hut's going to be sitting up the top there. So you can load your brush up, and we're more just doing curved strokes on this. So again, looking at I'm going to curve along the top. A few different colours on there. So you can be a lot thicker with your brush strokes here. So we want that. And then just down in that bottom corner, I use the darker green, a little bit more black. It creates more like a shadow. Layer that up. You can just leave that to dry. Well, we might just leave that to dry a little bit before we come back. More brown. That is looking quite different to my other one, but that's okay. It's what art's for, we're not copying. All right, how are you going, Joyce? Are you still painting along? Or have I gone too fast? I have to come back and watch. Now, with your house, if you want to, you can draw it if you've got a Sharpie or something nearby. I'm just going to do it with the paint. So we're going to break it down into shapes. Right, I'm going to use my darker brown. Hope that you're going to be able to see it. I'm going to have some of it above the horizon line, and this little house is probably going to be bigger because I've made the grass a bit, the area a bit. So we're going to do a triangle for the first part of the roof and down into a rectangle. So that's a fairly basic shape. Then we want that same angle of our roof over the other side, over here. For that. Because my sky is dry, if I make a mistake, I can easily rub it off. But it's an old dilapidated, however you say that word, barn type thing, so it doesn't matter if it's a little bit wonky. And then we're just joining the roof together and drawing our other square here. So then we're just going to colour those shapes in with the coat. Just with the roof, just use black because we're just doing a coat of black to start with, just to cover the horizon line because that's a little bit darker. My roof's now gone a bit wonky across the top. I'm just going to come down slightly. Right, I'm just going to see if this is going to work while it's wet. So rinsing out your brush, and you're going to load your brush with a little bit of white, and while it's wet, we're just going to do stripes straight up and down. That's reflecting a little bit. It's not that bright on mine. So that's going to give it that wood panel look. So you want them to come all the same direction. And then same on the roof. So we're just going to do some lines on our roof. So I haven't actually got much white on there. But because the paint's still a little bit wet, it creates that look. And then you can add in a little black door. And I'm just going to go to the black outline just on the joins and the sides across the bottom. And I just realised that that was actually supposed to end back, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to do mill now. So just make sure you've got quite a bit of black paint, enough to cover. And we're going to grab a circle, whatever you're using for your circle. Yeah, actually that probably won't work. Maybe what I can, just let me check what I did. You need the open end of it. So either a lid or a circle, or you'll just have to have a go at drawing it. And then we're just dipping it in the paint. And I want it to go a little bit up in the sky and stamping it on. Don't worry if you smudged it like I did. And then you're coming in with another little circle in between. And we've got some rungs. And this is an old windmill too, so don't be too fussed if your blades don't quite work. So we're just going to make them like a triangle without a pointy bit. So you might want to do them, I'll just show you in a couple of sizes. So you could either do them so they're smaller like that, or you can make them a bit wider and have less of them on there. And then you're colouring in that area. So if you want, you can just go around and do all your blades first. See if it's going to fit in. Like I said, it's an old one, and depending on angles, they look different sizes as well, and that's okay. If you're not totally confident with doing this part, you can use a pencil and just draw it in. So mine are all different sizes too, so that's fine. You can fix them up a little bit with your paint. In all those gaps. We'll add a couple of highlights when that's dry. Now, the beauty of watching replays is that you can stop and start when you need to. Sorry, I do paint a little bit fast, I know. So the replay, because it's live into the Facebook group, will be up straight away. So yes, you'll be able to go back and forward to where you need to be if you haven't kept up with me. Now it also has the side thing that comes out, the big, I don't know what it's called. So it has a line that comes straight out, and then it's like a paddle type shape side. I'll make it a lot more prevalent in a minute when we add a little bit of white. Just on the side, got one little hair that keeps sticking out. If you just wipe your brush off a little bit, you can grab some of your white and you can just do some lines across it, and just a barb on its arm that goes across there. And then because our moon or sun or whatever it is over this side, I'm just going to add a little bit of white that side as reflection change as we go around. Okay, and then it's doing the leg part. So if you do need to draw this first, do so. We're just going to think where your middle circle is, and we're just going to come straight down into our grass down here. Then think of a triangle. So then come to the back. So it doesn't quite come down as close as the front one, and same on the other side. Well, that one a bit far. That's right. I'll just bring that one down a little bit. And we've got a little bit there. I don't know what that's called, like a little platform. And then you can put the rungs in. And I'll just do a crisscross. Ah, we've got that. Broken one at that is that bit. It's not joining to. All right, then our last bits are the grass down the bottom. Now, hopefully, your green is still okay. It's not, so I'm just going to have a bit more blue. Mix. So when you do this part, try not to over mix. And we want a limey green so that it shows up. We do need a little bit more yellow. Oh, not that much. I'll fix it later. All right, so when we're doing our grass down the bottom, load your brush up and you can have it loaded with green and yellow. And we're just going to flick some grass stems. You may want to turn it upside down. Don't have to. Sometimes it's easier to get the nice flicks. You want them in different directions. This is going to be like our wildflowers down the front. So see how I'm getting variation in the green? It's not fully mixed. So I've got bluey, yellowy, limey green colour. Some yellow. Thicken it up in spots. You will need a nice clean brush for this next bit. And make sure you've got nice fresh paint. So I'm just going to grab some more Phthalo Blue. I've got plenty of yellow. And a bit more white. Which is also clogged up, that's okay. And then just using, I've got more green on this one, but that's okay. So then as we go to do our plants down here, you can load up your little brush with blue, phthalo blue, and white on the end. So we're going to stamp some little flowers. Now, if they do go too much white, just go back over them again because we don't want too much. Just do them in random spots. So we'll do a whole heap of blue first. And then come in with some with a bit more white and make them a little bit smaller in different spots. And then with the yellow, you can either, if you've got dotting tools, you can use dotting tools, but if you haven't, that's fine. If you do have a little bit of orange nearby, you can use that as well. Otherwise, I reckon it might go all right with a bit of that brown loaded on it. Let me see. No, orange would be better. So if you've got some orange nearby, just show you. Now, I only need a little bit. Just load up with yellow and a bit of orange on the end. And we're just doing some little spots through. They're just tiny little flowers. The orange again. You can just use your other end of your brush too. So come in, load up with the yellow and orange. To do some different size. I think that is it on there. Sorry, we've probably gone a bit too much green in there. If you want, you can go back in and just fill that up a little bit more. Go over with like some more grass. Fill that up. Now to do your edges, I'm not going to do all my edges because I'm just not on my painting table. This is on a wood table. I didn't put anything under it. So doing your edges, you're just going to use your black and your big brush and go across the side. And then facing it away from you, you might find it easier to stand up. Going to flick it in a little bit, go along all of your edges, and that will create a nice frame around it. I'm very pop my paper towel under there. Right, so that is our painting finished for today. Remember to sign it, and please take a photo and put in the Facebook group, share on your profiles and tag me in it as well. And feel free to invite your friends to the group as well. if they're not already in here, because a lot of you have already done that. And we haven't got one next weekend because I'm going to a 50th. I can't remember when my next one is after that. Anyway, there's a few coming up. And like I said, I will be doing some different ones on YouTube, but I will let you know in the group as well how you can get on to that and when they will be starting. So thanks very much for joining me today, and we will see you all on next time. And stop sharing. Yeah. Oh dear.